This is my Pecha Kucha project on the Reconstruction area of America. I had subjects A, B, and C. Reconstruction was a pivotal point in America, which lasted from 1865 to 1877. Reconstruction involved the South after the Civil War and allowing the Confederate States back to the Union. There were three ways that the South was rebuilt: legally, politically, and socially. The Reconstruction began where the Civil War picked up and ended. Presidential Reconstruction was pro-South, while Congressional Reconstruction was against the South, and both plans had the necessary needs to reunite and rebuild a country. The radical Republicans wanted the South to be punished for their actions, while Abraham Lincoln, the president at the time, wanted the South to enter into the Union and reunite. In the end, presidential Reconstruction will prevail. It would now be the plan moving forward. The 10% plan was published by Lincoln in 1863. Southern states must ratify the 13th Amendment, discard the right of secession, and have 10% voters from each said southern state to have to take an oath on allegiance to the U.S. Radical Republicans objected to Lincoln's plan, saying that the plan was too lenient and did not go far enough to protect the rights of newly free slaves. In response, they proposed the Wade-Davis bill, and due to the Wade-Davis bill, that 10% of voters would eventually change to 50% of voters. On April 14, 1865, Lincoln was assassinated by John Wilkes Booth before the Wade-Davis bill could be signed. As role of vice president, Andrew Johnson would now be elected as president. Johnson was a supporter of slavery, so it was very surprising when he had a similar plan compared to the former president Abraham Lincoln. Congress and Johnson were butting heads because Andrew was appointing southern states new governors left and right and also firing all Republicans under his office. Congress acted against Johnson and passed the Tenure of Office Act in 1867. Johnson ignored this and was later impeached by Congress. Open interracial elections were held by southern states. Most newly free slaves had very few options other than farming. They ended up working in former slaveholders and would work in conditions comparable to slavery. However, Congress created the Bureau of Refugees, Freedmen's Bureau, and abandoned lands to aid slaves in March of 1865. Freedmen's Bureau only lasted 7 years, all the way up to 1872 due to Southern boycotters. However, in the 7-10 year, it helped homeless with property laws, oversaw 3,000 schools, and helped reunite families. Amendments number 13, 14, and 15 are otherwise known as the Reconstruction Amendments. Reconstruction Amendments were designed to end slavery and allow Americans to coexist and protect the rights of newly free slaves. The 13th Amendment, passed in 1865, was primarily used to end slavery. It overturned policies including fugitive slaves clause requiring runaway slaves to be 3/5 of a state's population. The 14th Amendment, passed in 1868, was used to extend citizenship, stated all born to the U.S. and citizens and states protect the rights of all U.S. citizens. Former slaves are now U.S. citizens, and states are expected to provide equal protection of laws. The 15th Amendment was used to allow voting for former male slaves. This amendment was now directed towards women. The 15th Amendment gave the right of the U.S. citizens to vote and should not be denied by the United States. However, black codes like affected poll taxes, the grandfather clause, and literacy tests implemented by southern states could have denied this right. Black codes were eventually destroyed during the 50s and 60s, and the Brown v. Board of Education had brought a true sense of equality. After almost 100 years after Reconstruction in 1954. Many individuals profited from the Reconstruction area. The term carpetbaggers was used to describe Northerners who had relocated during Reconstruction to take advantage of the circumstances there and make more money. Additionally, Southern whites backed the Republicans, and the different Reconstruction area measures in the South were referred to as scallywags because they supported them even though it did not necessarily benefit them in any kind of way. The KKK was established in the first area of Reconstruction, which was the period immediately following the Civil War. Particularly during Reconstruction, Republican officials in the Reconstruction administrations of the old Confederacy and newly emancipated black communities were the targets of the Klan, which functioned as a quote-unquote vigilante group. Thank you for watching my presentation on the Reconstruction area, subjects A, B, and C. Here are my sites referenced that I used to create this Pecha, Kucha, and project. Hello, everybody.